Nah, I don't wanna do it, but I ain't afraid to die. Lord knows I ain't perfect. I ain't trying to tell a lie. It's understood and I ain't in all that woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trying to say you want peace, then you burn the.
It was my God's honest that I was all about a non-violent approach, but it seems the truth is a non-topic.
My parents were together. I was an only child, and my parents were pretty cool, for the most part. My dad worked a lot of hours. My mom, she had some, I'm not really positive what was wrong with her, but she had possibly some kind of mental health issues because she would be, one way one day and she could snap like that, and
yeah, identify,
go on an absolute tirade. And, I walked on eggshells for, many years. Well, as a kid, I should say, not many years. But
right.
other than that, I had a pretty good childhood. We had stuff. We had a nice house. We had cars. My dad had a boat. So it wasn't like I was needing anything.
Right.
With my mom's weirdness, and it was pretty much abuse. Actually, it was emotional abuse. A lot of that, physical abuse. She was just, she could be cool, or she'd be a total witch. You know what I mean?
That's the toughest thing, is when you don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I kind of had the same situation. The only child thing plays into a lot of stuff too, I think.
But I just wanted to, just mention real quick, going backwards for a minute. I'm firmly in Generation X because I was born in the early 70s. So my childhood was the late 70s and all of the 80s.
Wait,
so,
you were born in the early 70s?
Yeah, I was born in.
Oh, you wear your age good, dude. Because I'm sitting here thinking of all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, so he's like a year or two older than me. I was born in 80, so
Oh, wow.
I didn't know you were born in the early 70s. So wait a minute, you were freaking, you were like 30 when the counterfeiting thing happened. So
Yeah.
what were you doing? Say middle teenage years up to adulthood. What was your thing? What was your goal? I guess I'm asking.
Well, when I was in high school, I wanted to, I only had two career paths that I was interested in that I thought would be cool. One was I wanted to be an FBI agent, ironically, and two, I wanted to be a psychologist. One was practical, one was maybe not so practical. But then I found out that, just because of, a lot of the requirements and criteria to be an agent, I wouldn't be able to meet them. You know what I mean? And that psychology, I decided I'd go to college for that. And so I did. But ultimately, I dropped out of college. I took every psychology course that the university offered, and I got straight A's and everything. But by this time, I'd already started kidnapping people, and I was doing the rap thing, and we almost got that TV show. So I was like, yeah, what do I need college for? So I dropped out.
Right.
Yeah, so you finished some significant time in college, though.
Yeah, it's like those movies where there's that guy that stays in there for 5 or 6 years. That was me.
So you acquired some knowledge. At least, for all intents and purposes, you have the knowledge of maybe more than some psychologists.
Yeah,
I've seen a few, and they're not always astute.
One of my issues at the time is I could only focus on stuff that interested me. So when you go to college, you have to take a lot of prerequisite courses.
Yeah, that's the
stuff you got to fill up your time with. And some of these classes were so boring to me, and I just hated them. So I would drop them, and then I take more psychology classes. So at one point, they talked to me. They were like, "Look, you are so super concentrated in the specialized stuff, and you don't have hardly any of your prerequisites. You got to start taking this other stuff." And I'm like, I don't want to though. And they're like, if you want a degree, you kind of got to.
Dude, I totally identify with
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
I seriously
Can't
do.
concentrate on any of that
Yeah.
So it's safe to say maybe you got a little ADD going or something, or is
I just, it's just one of those things for me. I just felt like this stuff is not necessary. You know what I mean?
Right.
has nothing to do with your degree.
Yeah.
Like
No,
calc
no.
or whatever has nothing to do with the psychology degree.
Yeah.
You know, so I totally get that. I do think it's kind of silly that they jump through those hoops. It's
It's ridiculous. It's the same.
it's
type of stuff
obvious
in
I can
school.
fucking read and write because I'm
here,
killing it in this
right.
psychology class. Like I'm pretty sure I'm good with my
Like,
English.
well, let's please tell this person that they're never allowed to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist just because they didn't take that one math class.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, dude.
Yeah, there was
So
a
were
lot of
you,
classes that
You said you dropped out. Like, what did you drop out to do? Anything in particular? You're just like, I'm out. I'm gonna figure some shit out. Whatever.
well, technically at one point, before because I got a letter from the school at one point saying that because of you dropping so many classes and only focusing on these concentrated courses, we're going to have to academically dismiss you for one semester.
Damn.
And
Oh,
you could come back if you want, but you'll have to like fill out some paperwork and stuff like that. But for right now, we have to academically dismiss you. So after I got that letter, I was like, no biggie. I don't really want to go back at this point anyway. So I just
Yeah.
I
They
never
gave you an out.
Yeah,
They gave
it was,
you an out.
and the funny thing is around that time, yeah, it was around that time, I'm pretty sure. But the textbook McGraw-Hill,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a lot of college textbooks are printed by McGraw-Hill. One of the college textbooks, not for my college, but I don't know. I mean, it was a full run of McGraw-Hill. One of the chapters in McGraw-Hill college textbooks for psychology had me in it for extreme kidnapping. So I thought that was like a complete circle. Like I got academically dismissed, but now college textbooks are talking
Now
about
y'all gotta read about me.
That reminds me, like, no offense because this guy's a fucking monster, but that reminds me of Kohlberger.
Oh,
The Idaho 4 guy that just killed those people. Like he had a doctorate in psychology or whatever, and now they're gonna have a whole fucking chapter on this guy at some point.
yeah.
And it's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, yeah, gotcha, Like, so you like I used to actually show people that. I was like, I was a henchman for this, check this out. We're in fucking, because I found it online somewhere.
It was my God's honest that I was all about a non-violent approach, but it seems truth was a non-topic.